also very fortunate to have a special guest. Mr. Bradley Gill will be singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We are ready.
And welcome here to Wildcat Park for a nice and hot, blistery, something like that day here at Wildcat Park. We have the traveling Grand Rapids Thunderhawks, and they're playing their first game of the season. I am Casey Lux, joined again by Adam Huseman, the father of third baseman, power hitter Will Huseman. How are we doing today, Adam?
Always a great day for baseball, Casey, right?
Yes.
And we see it's 36 degrees and a blustery 21-mile-an-hour wind, but they're saying the wind may die down, so let's hope we can have a little lower. But you know what? People are out here having fun. Music's playing. Kids are running around. I know Grand Rapids is excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Grand Rapids, so just a little bit fill in. And we talked about this a little bit on Monday, but Grand Rapids and Eagan have had a nice little partnership over the past few years. Usually how it worked would Grand Rapids would come down, play a game on Friday, and then they would play this game on Saturday. It's worked really well for Eagan over the years, Adam, because now it's become a celebration of Eagan baseball.
Absolutely.
Baseball association, young and old, right? Alumni can come back. We'll probably talk through some of our sponsors as well. And then at the same time, they get to play their first game of the season.
Yeah, I was talking to the Grand Rapids coach, and yeah, this is really the first time they've been out on a field. I mean, they've been doing parking lots, and they got 8 inches of snow yesterday up there, so they're excited.
Yeah.
I don't know that they care. It's 36.
Yep. So as you can see here, we got Nolan Savatos in center. Miles Gusterson is their ace. He'll be pitching today. Henske's going to be playing out right field. David Wohlers will be catching. Kyler Miller will be at shortstop. Klaus Jones at third. Dominic Broberg is your DH today. He'll be DHing for the left fielder, Sam Dick. And then Easton Shostrand, Caleb Gunderson, the brother, will be at second base today as well. And as you can see, we'll be talking through the Eagan defense here in a second as well. But pretty much the same defensive alignment that we've seen so far for the early start to the Eagan season.
You know, for the most part, it's been pretty consistent. You know, a little up the middle. He's changed it a little bit around, shortstop. You see Matt Cunningham starting today. Ryan Eckerly started the other day against Shakopee. Elias has been playing a lot of second base as well, though. So he appears to be settling on a lineup here as he gets hopefully started to get some rhythm and get some games in here. It's been a tough few weeks, as we all know.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of games have moved already. So.
And I think the other thing, too, that you and I both know is Coach Butler's not afraid to obviously, mix in, whether it be just a pinch hit here and there, getting guys into pinch run, late inning adjustments, right? So that lineup will fluctuate, but for the most part, the infield has stayed about the same most of the season.
Yeah.
I think we've noticed. And then obviously you're probably going to keep George out in center for the remainder of the season. But with that being said, we do have another freshman battery today, so we'll get our first view of Will Mitchell. Fastball slider guy. I don't know if he's going to work a changeup in or not today, and then Brandon Lunenberg at behind the plate is also a freshman. So once again, another youthful battery.
And what a great opportunity for these kids too, right, to come in and play on this stage. When you're looking at the lineup, as you mentioned, David Rockford in left field has played left and second. Elias has played second and some outfield. Griffin Finsky has played first. He actually has obviously pitched, can catch if he needs to. So Matt Cunningham can pitch. So to your point of, they've got some people that can play multiple positions, which is great.
And then I'll let Adam kind of run through the standings here as I'm doing a little bit of double duty with the PA for Grand Rapids today as well.
And, as you can see, the South Suburban standings on the screen right now, Eagan with a 2-1 start. And really, we're just one bad inning against Burnsville, from possibly being 3-0, because they have played really two solid games against Lakeville South and against Shakopee, which was timely hitting and done well. So Eagan's on top of the standings, and hopefully they can keep that going. And you see now the Lake Superior standings, and as you can see, Grand Rapids, number 7, only because they haven't played a game yet. In talking with their coach before the game, they are fairly young, a lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores. They've got 15 guys on the roster, but again, this is their first time outside on a baseball field. So they were excited to come down here, and they're ready to play tonight. So looking forward to a good afternoon here with the kids, too, for Youth and Alumni Day showing up here. And actually a really good crowd for a cold Saturday. So.
Hey, and it's a good sign. First pitch, 12:30, so we are right on time.
Right on time.
And there was a little birdie that was talking earlier that said that they would really enjoy an hour, 40-minute, 2-1 game today.
Yeah, it's going to be it'll be cold for the kids, especially as you mentioned, if he does have some guys that come off the bench here, maybe third, fourth, fifth inning and hit after kind of sitting for a while. So.
Well, the biggest thing as guys like us that have grew up in the state of Minnesota and have played in these cold weather games, just staying active, staying busy, and trying to stay away from the long innings, right?
Yes.
Stay away from that 8-run inning like they had on Monday against Burnsville, because that's when everything gets tightened up, and then that's where, not only do physical errors happen, but that's where the mental errors can come into play.
Absolutely.
So
you start getting cold, and then your mind starts wandering. To your point, it gets a little – so hopefully they can keep on track. And they had actually a wonderful outing the other night against Shakopee.
Yeah.
I mean, another – kind of what I think probably we're going to see, hopefully their calling card, Eagan. I mean, a well-pitched game. Eagan had 3 pitchers throw, some timely hitting, good defense, good base running, and a nice victory, very much like Lakeville South game. And as I mentioned earlier, Casey, they're really 1 inning away in that Burnsville game from being probably 3-0.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So 3-2 is our count. Mitchell's trying to obviously get control of his fastball here early on. Gets one across the plate. It looks like he's still getting a little grip on his slider, and that's similar to what we talked about on Monday, Adam, was for the pitchers, especially early on that first inning, is just getting a feel for the ball and just getting that release point figured out, which you normally would do, but you'd like to do it on a 75-degree day, not on a 40-degree day.
Absolutely.
So issues that first pitch walk to Savatos.
And, good at-bat for Savantos. I mean, first at-bat of the year to work it to a full count. Have a couple foul balls, so to have a 9-10 pitch at bat to open the year for Grand Rapids is a good start. I think Will will settle in here, like I said, freshman, first time on the mound here at the varsity level. So nice little double play ball right here, huh, Casey?
Here you go. We saw a couple of those on Monday. Just misses outside. So Gunderson, which we assumed was their ace since this is their first game of the year, though Gunderson was a heck of a pitcher for them last year. All-state tournament team. He was all-section for the regular season, all-section tournament team. They do have 6 returning starters from their 4th place state 3A team last year. So, and the offers at the first strike. 101's our count here early in the first. So they do obviously come back with some experience. I think they mentioned they had 9 guys that are with their hockey, hockey starters, or not starters, but hockey players too. So we know it's a hockey community up there. But obviously they showed that they can play some good baseball last year as well.
And you want athletes, right? As a coach, you want an athlete, whether you're football, run, cross country, track, hockey, baseball, right? You like kids that do a lot of stuff. And as you mentioned, the coach from Grand Rapids also told me they've got many multiple sport athletes on this team. So, and this is more like hockey weather. Could be hockey day in Minnesota today type weather.
Right. Yeah, you could play out the pond today probably if you wanted to. So 1-1. Here's the delivery. There's a curveball or slider. Maybe he's got a little bit of a slurve, as some people like to call it. Maybe it's not as sharp of a slider, but it still moves enough.
I don't know if you could see that on TV as well, but up here from the vantage point, that had actually good movement on it.
Yep, absolutely.
And to your point, on a cold day, to get the seam where you want it and get that rotation, that was a very nice breaking ball.
Yeah. Well, and and if you can pinpoint that slider, especially to right-handed hitters, I mean, that's going to set up a lot of ground balls to second or shortstop, right? And that's going to be where we're going to look at, as you can see, Savatos get back in time, but quick move over by Mitchell. Here we go. We got Huseman to New. Stefanski.
That's how you draw it up.
5-4-3.
That's how you draw it up. Like we said, a ground ball double play, and nice pitching. You see the rotation down, kind of some ground balls, and Eagan did a nice job on a 5-4-3 double play. So. Nice play by Will to kind of get it started. Elias did a nice turn.
Number 19,
and what I like what Elias did there is he didn't try to rush it, right? He made a nice catch, made a nice throw, good footwork, to get a second out. So
and here's our replay. And I was just going to mention that too. The key is obviously getting that first out, which Will does. But what I like there too is that Elias didn't necessarily, like you said, rush. He doesn't need to throw it 100 miles an hour. If he beats out the throw, so be it. But was still able to get enough on it to get that double play ball.
Yeah, and. As you know, sometimes you get a ball that isn't hit real hard, then the kids start to rush. Then their upper body gets ahead of their feet, and that's when throws start going all over the place in outfield. So a nice job both by Will and Elias to
there's
break
a quick
that play.
one. There's a quick one. So, as you can see, Mitchell settles in, and we get a quick 1-2-3 inning. So no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left down. We'll be back here in 45 to a minute with more Eagan Wildcat baseball. For the Thunderhawks, no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Back here at Wildcat Park, and we're going to have Miles Gunderson. So we're excited to see what the ace from the Thunderhawks bring. As you can see, we got Tate George leading off, which is a little bit newer spot for Tate.
Yep.
Tate Gage. Tate Gage leading off out in left field. George Anderson back in the second slot at center field. Griffin Fenske's going to be at first. Will Huseman, the power hitting third baseman. That nice combo of Fenske-Huseman. David Rockford, catcher Lunenberg, George Esser, the DH, Matt Cunningham, the shortstop, and Elias New, our second baseman, will be kind of that similar, familiar-looking lineup for the Eagan Wildcats here today. So, Tate Gage steps in, did a nice job on Monday when he came in kind of middle of that game. I think he had a stolen base, had a walk as well.
And Tate started then on the Wednesday game against Shakopee and did a nice job. Hit a double. And as a few guys we've talked about this year, can do some things in the base paths too. When he gets on, he's very quick, can take the first to thirds, second to home, chance to steal some bases, so they bet a chance. And that's really how they won the game Wednesday, was really good base running with 2 outs. On a pop fly to the infield, they had a guy score from first base, which really put them up 4-3.
Yep.
And I think we're going to see that a lot from a Coach Butler coach team, right? Of we're going to hustle, we're going to try to take every 90 feet that we can, And I think we've seen that for the most part so far here in the early stage of the season.
So Gunderson finds the outside corner. Looks like Gunderson's kind of working fastball, curveball, changeup a little bit as well. Ball in the dirt, and we get a leadoff walk, which is head coach's almost favorite play.
You like to call favorite play in the playbook, right? Let's get the leadoff guy on. And a nice at-bat to start the game, right? Work the count to full and then get a walk.
Yep, absolutely. So for the Thunderhawks, their defensive lineman, you got Sam Dick out in left field. He's getting DH for today. Nolan Savatos in center. Kyle Henske in right field. Klaus Jones at third. Kyler Miller at short. Caleb Gunderson, brother of Miles Gunderson, at second. Easton Shostrand at first. David Wohlers is our catcher, and Miles Gunderson is our starting pitcher here today. So
Casey, we'll see. We haven't seen a lot of bunting yet.
Right.
Now, granted, it's only the fourth game, and we'll see on these non-conference games if coach tries to do some things maybe to see how it works. Maybe more so. That looks like a hit and run there.
Yep.
Yeah, which is great. You saw, I don't know if you could see, the shortstop goes to cover, creates that hole, and you can see how George tried to go the other way. So it's good to see he's going to try some things here, especially early in the year in a non-conference game.
Got to keep the blood flowing today too,
Yeah.
right? So I think you might see some running from both sides, and just make the catcher make the play, right?
Yeah.
Make the pitcher throw the pitch, and make him execute essentially. So 1-1 pitch, ground ball is going to find
That's
a
gonna get
hole
through.
in right. Big turn by Gage, but he's going to stay at second.
Casey, I think we just talked about that little. You talk about the big turn by Tate Gage. I think that's the little stuff that coach always wants guys to do. How do we not be satisfied with 90 feet, right? How do I keep going and make the defense make a great play to keep me from going? And I think he's going to continue to talk about those little things all year long.
No, absolutely. No, nice piece of hitting by Gage. He was in the pitcher's count there at 2-1. Found a hole. It looked like they were playing him straight up for the most part too. I was kind of surprised that the second baseman wasn't, kind of leaned over a little bit more. Shifted over, but they kind of played him straight up there. Maybe that was due to the fact that they showed that hit and run so early, right?
Yeah.
So,
but and the thing with George, good hit and run kind of a guy because he does tend to hit the ball on the ground a lot,
Yep.
which is obviously what you want with a hit and run.
So Griffin Fenske steps in, senior, like we said, going to Iowa Central, number 3 hitter, first baseman, also the closer on the team. So 1-1's our count, and obviously, this is obviously falls right into what Eagan's master plan would be, right, is to get the speed up here early, and then you got Fenske, Huseman, and Esser. Fenske's going to hit one to Savatos. Savatos gets underneath it, fakes a tag by Gage, but
not quite deep enough.
nope, not quite deep enough. No wind, so it wasn't like that necessarily was held back by the wind. Looked like Griffin just got a little bit out on that front foot. So with that said, they'll bring up the senior, Will Huseman, third baseman. Last time he was here, he parked one for a 2-run shot in the bottom of the first inning against Burnsville, and everything looked well for the Wildcats at that point.
That one started great.
But I think the Wildcats will find a way to take any runs that they can here in this first inning. So, and obviously the beauty is having some of your veterans, right, your seniors come up as your 3, 4, 5 hitters, right?
And especially with guys on base, as you know, if you can get 1 and 2 on, statistically, you're probably going to score a run. So hopefully they can play that out here today with David, Will, and then David on deck here.
Yep. Gunderson fastball misses outside, so we got a quick 2-0 count. As we've mentioned before, Will is set and signed to go to Concordia St. Paul to continue his baseball career. So that's exciting stuff for the Huseman family. I know Dad likes it that he doesn't have to travel too far, at least for the home games.
We've been fortunate with a couple of our kids that have played sports to be kind of local here, so we're looking forward to it. But he's looking forward to a great senior year.
Good. Yep, absolutely. 4-pitch walk. I think he wasn't looking for that, but he'll take it nonetheless. So with that being said, we're going to bring up the right fielder, number 4 will be David Rockford. And, like we said, too, before with David, I've really been impressed with, kind of his evolution from last year, even his sophomore year, the end of his sophomore year, to coming into this year.
Absolutely. David has progressed very well. Even his sophomore year, I think he had a few at-bats.
Yep.
He might have even played in this exact game on this non-conference. Sure. And you can just see the maturation process in David the past couple years. And as I said earlier, can really play 2 spots,
yes.
Infield and outfield. Both corner spots in the outfield, right and left, and plays a nice second base as well. So.
Yep, absolutely.
And has been swinging the bat well. Has had at least 1 multi-hit game this year out of the first couple, and tends to hit the ball pretty hard. So
Gunderson's still trying to find the zone here. That's 6 straight balls by Gunderson. bases are loaded. You got Tate Gage at third, George Anderson at second, and Will Huseman at first. So Eagan Wildcats looking to get the fans engaged here early.
I would think he'd be taking here with 6 in a row, but just missed a little outside. So
yeah, the tough thing is when you're missing like that is, you got to find a way just to throw 1 or 2 even down the middle. And I get it, whether you're going to take a chance that somebody's going to take a pop at it, but you can't be nibbling when you've been throwing that many balls in a row. So we got 3-0 count here to David Rockford. Bases are loaded here early on. Bottom of the first, we have about 40-degree day here in Eagan. The winds died down. It's going to kind of range between 5 to 15 mile an hour northwest winds as we get a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. For the most part, the Grand Rapids defense is playing Rockford straight up. Savatos has got a little bit of a shift and a little bit over to the gaps. And then we're going to see our first run of the game here as Tate Gage is going to come in and score on that 5-pitch at bat for the first run of today.
Casey, as we talked about, not ideal these long innings for either side, but especially walks, right? Because I know the Grand Rapids kids, they want to move around too, and these walks can be hard. So he'll settle in, right? Like I said, first time out. He'll be all right.
Well, and I think their coach, Bill Kinnunen, said, they've only been outside once. So all they've done is inside work. They've been outside once, and this is their first game of the season, and we're already, a week into the season. A nice job there by the catcher, Wohlers, to keep that in front.
Casey, the Grand Rapids coach also said they only have 1 hitting cage in the community.
Oh, wow.
At the middle school. So you've got varsity JV, you've got the middle school kids playing. So even just getting cage time has been challenging. So, and I think that's why Grand Rapids wanted to come down here. It's like, hey, we just want to get some games, get some at-bats.
No, 100%. So the freshman is batting now. That's the catcher, Brandon Lunenberg.
Who, as we talked, I think, in an earlier broadcast, doesn't necessarily play like a freshman.
No, doesn't look like a freshman either.
He does a nice job receiving behind the plate. A lot of moxie for a freshman, so he does a nice job.
No, I was real impressed with his blocking and so forth last game. And as Lunenberg takes in a walk, so guys are getting some free RBIs here early, Adam.
Yes. Really not how either team wants to do it, but hey, we'll take a first mound visit out and just settle them down.
Yep. Coach Kinnunen going to go out and talk to Gunderson. And the tough thing, too, is just the excitement of the first game. I'm sure that's part of it. And like I said before, too, also trying to get a grip on the ball as well as we see a pitch runner's going to come in. And I don't have that number on our sheet, I don't believe.
I believe 8 is Joe Anderson, I believe.
Oh, yes, you're correct.
But I think Grand Rapids was supposed to, after this game, they were actually slated to go back to Duluth tonight and have a 7 o'clock game up in Duluth, but that got snowed out as well. So they're going to be playing 4 or 5 games a week here, pretty much up through sections.
So the senior now DH is George Esser. He's DHing for the freshman pitcher Will Mitchell. So Esser's going to come in here with bases loaded again. We have an early 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Only 1 out on that pop fly to Savatos by Fensky. George
has DH'd a couple games this year, and a big, strong kid, and if he gets a hold of one, it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I saw him get some extra tee work in, so I know that he was, fired up. And that is kind of the beauty of being a DH, right? Those are the guys that can actually stay the warmest throughout the game, right? As you see that curveball come in for a strike to retire Esser for the second out of the inning. That's going to now bring up the shortstop, the sophomore Matt Cunningham.
Actually, good sequence there in terms of off-speed, and kind of got George kind of guessing a little bit. And so a good mound visit. You can look for that, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And you can see it's
just kind of right on the knees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of froze him a little bit.
And I think, that very well is what Coach Kinnunen was saying is, hey, if you're not getting the fastball over, why don't you start with pitch backwards in a sense, right? Like throw the curveball over early for a strike, maybe see if you can have him chase the fastball late in the count. So 0-1's our count here, 2 down, 2 0's our count as we see a quick 2 strikes. So now he's thrown 5 strikes in a row. Still bases loaded. We have, let's see here, Huseman is at third. Rockford at second, and then the pinch runner Joe Anderson is at first.
And it
fouled
definitely
away.
appears to have kind of got his breaking ball under control now. Is throwing quite a few of these last 6 pitches or so. So he seems to have that in for a strike. And I would think, Grand Rapids, as the game goes, because it's their first time, will probably have a pitch count on some of their guys early on. And
try to get a bunch of guys some innings.
Some innings,
yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Which, I mean, we don't have we can see the Eagan bullpen. It'll be a little bit difficult for us to keep an eye on the Grand Rapids bullpen, but I think we already saw some action already happening. So 1-2's our count, 2 down. Bottom of the first as that fastball misses high and in. Bases are loaded, 2-0's our score. And Egan's done all this with only really 1 hit, and that was George Anderson's hit to right field.
And Matt Cunningham has actually done a nice job on the mound this year, too.
So he can simply just step on home, which he does. And with that, we have a 2-0 lead. So for Egan in the bottom of the first, they get 2 runs on 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was 3 left on base. We'll be back in a minute for more Egan baseball against Grand Rapids. For Egan.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
How you holding up? Nothing wrong with getting help.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need the help.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Youth winners.
So we're back to the top of the second inning. So Egan up 2-0. Nice start, I guess, for Egan to score a couple runs on a few walks, a few strikeouts, but always nice to get ahead. So Egan starts off the up 2-0 here as we head into the top of the second. And another actually very good inning by the freshman. Will Mitchell, as we mentioned earlier, a freshman battery, and a really, really nice start for the freshman in the first inning.
Yeah, absolutely. No, quick inning, right, after you got that double play ball and faced the minimum in 3 batters.
And Casey, as you and I talked, we've done a few games. We've seen probably 3, 4, 5 double plays. I don't know if we saw that many all last year, which really speaks to the fact that the Egan defense is making the plays when they need to. And, that's going to keep them in a lot of ball games and probably have them win a lot of ball games.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's just so key if, because the double play ball, the thing that people kind of forget about is the double play ball just completely takes away either that bad walk that you had or the air that maybe put that guy on first, right? You completely erase that, get it out of your head, get it out of your system, and obviously it gets the excitement going for the defense. So 1-0's our count as Mitchell's first pitch was a ball outside. Second one's outside as well. Wohlers, catcher for Grand Rapids. Wohlers himself was he was also on the all Section 7 3A or Section AAA tournament team. So Wohlers obviously had a wonderful playoff season going into their state tournament run.
I've been very, very impressed with Will early on in terms of his breaking ball and throwing it for a strike. He has done another one right there. He's done a nice job.
Well, I think the other thing that we have to kind of realize as not necessarily as we get older, but the newer generation of players is freshmen just aren't freshmen anymore when it comes to high school athletics, or even sophomores for that matter, right? Because of the traveling baseball that they play and the competition that they play against. It's we used to always go, oh wow, it's so amazing that a freshman's playing up on varsity, right? And it is. Don't get me wrong, especially at a big school or small school, either way, right? But I think they're molded a little bit different now as freshmen or sophomores.
Yeah, I think the club baseball scene has got these guys working on lifting weights and doing things different. The traveling baseball, so you're 100% correct. Freshmen are coming into high school now, I think, much more developed.
Yes.
Much more skill. Much more than I think freshmen might have been 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was so much more of an outlier. It seemed like years ago when it was like for freshmen to all of a sudden jump in and play with the 18-year-old seniors was like, wow, I can't but these guys like you said, developed as far as their mechanics, developed as far as the weights and the body. I mean,
yep.
A lot of these guys don't necessarily come up looking like they're 130-pound freshmen like they might have used to be, right? So 3-2 as he walks Wohlers on a 3-2 pitch. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Kyler Miller.
Yeah, we'll see if, Grand Rapids has done a nice job kind of making some counts go deep. I mean, that's, I think, the second or third 3-2 count with some foul balls. Those 7, 8, 10 pitches at bat, the coaches will take that early on, right? Just seeing more pitches and, just keeping the defense out there longer in this cold weather.
So Mitchell looking to get pitcher's best friend, another ground ball for a double play ball, but more importantly, just kind of get back into that realm of throwing strikes early and often in the count. Wohlers, the catcher, number 4 hitter at first, so we'll see if they put him in motion at all. Maybe test out Lunenburg early.
Nice pitch there. He's like I said, he's able to mix in both a breaking ball and a fastball for strikes.
And not afraid to throw inside, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's is so key, whether you're any age that you are, freshman, sophomore, senior, junior, is not being afraid to come inside here and there, so that way you can work that slider outside, which looks like Lunenburg is looking for right here. As slider misses in and low. 2-1's our count. Wind picking back up, so we'll see how much of that factor is today. It's not as blustery as Monday, so I don't really think we're going to see the pop-ups be as affected as Monday was, but we haven't seen one yet, so we don't really know. Fastball for a strike.
It's they see the flag out there. Sometimes it's blowing, sometimes it's not. So you're right. It's still got to run them all out at any level, but certainly the high school level on a cold, windy day.
So they're going to shade, looks like George, a little bit to that right center gap here, because I think that's the way that they're setting up to pitch. Slider just missed inside, which didn't miss by much.
No. Like I said, when he's missed inside, it's been just off the plate. He appears to be hitting the spots they want him to for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't necessarily been erratic up or down. I mean, it hasn't been a lot of balls in the dirt, so that's been key. There it is. There's the slider. Came inside for strike 3 as he retires Kyler Miller, bringing up Klaus Jones, the third baseman.
So another very, very nice slider. Kind of working. He was working them in. Working them in, and then another one to get him out. He had a fastball, kind of a couple sliders, fastball, and another slider. Did a nice job there.
Yeah, and that one actually, from our vantage point, we didn't really see it on the replay. That was actually a slider that was a little bit up, so kind of caught the top half of the strike zone as he gets a fastball in the outside corner. So working quick. 1 down here in the top of the second. 2-0 is our score as Eagan took an early lead on, I think, a bevy of walks. I believe 5 walks and 1 hit in the bottom of the first inning. David Wohlers at first is the catcher for the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks. And Klaus Jones hits a grounder to Mitchell. Mitchell's probably only plays if he go to 1, and he does, but he throws over the head. That's going to allow Wohlers to go to second, as well as Wohlers to third and Jones to second. Tough play there in the sense of got to be on communication of whether you're going to try to throw it to the inside of the base or out. He was trying to throw, I think, to the inside of the base, and the ball just kind of sailed on him at the last minute.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see the replay here, but I think I'm sure a coaching point's going to be you kind of like the pitcher kind of when you got the ball there, kind of step and throw, and he kind of fielded it, and then just, dude, you want to kind of move your feet a little bit, and he didn't kind of step and throw, and I think that can sometimes you miss him high. I think that's so much so they teach him there. Pick it up, step, throw. Probably wanted to go inside, as you said, and it just get away from him. And those are those kind of freebies that you just want to minimize.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that, for the most part, is we see a pop fly here to right. I don't know if we're gonna have enough room for David Rockford. No, he doesn't. Luckily, they kind of dodged a bad collision there with Fensky and Jones at first. I mean, it's not like anybody's trying to run anybody over there, but just kind of the bang play. So luckily, Fensky, was able to kind of, more importantly, get his glove hand away so that you don't get that subplexion of the shoulder. But with that being said, we have 1 out still. We have Wohlers at third, Jones at second. Eagan's going to play for the out with the early 2-0 lead.
Casey, so many of those plays between when you're back the catcher or those ones that are in front of the plate. Those ones that are kind of on the inside the field, you'd want to go inside. Any of those drop third strikes that get to the other side of the foul line, you want to go outside, and that's that communication that they'll clean that up as we get farther into the season too.
And Mitchell's main job here is to keep throwing strikes. So I mean, that was just a little slow roller that he wasn't, didn't make the play on.
Yep.
One of the weirdest anomalies, I guess you could say, of baseball is the old air on the pitcher to give yourself an unearned run, right? Which I don't think we've seen too many guys throw away pitches on balls on purpose. But
I don't think that was in his head, but you never know.
Keep that ERA down. 2-1 count. Fastball's low. So 3-1 count. The freshmen are going to talk to each other. Kind of probably go over maybe that math assignment that they had on Friday real quick.
You know, Casey, even right there, I guess to talk about Brandon, again, as a freshman, hey, 3-1, had some deep counts, just had a bad throw on his own, right? I'm going to go out and just talk to my pitcher.
Yep.
No prompting from the dugout. That's just the kind of stuff that, again, we talked about. He doesn't necessarily play like a freshman. All those little things you generally don't see out of a freshman.
And the tough thing is, too, is, you know, on a cold day like this, you know, the umps, both teams, they want to keep the game moving, but there is a need, when done right, to, you know, call a quick time and just go out there and quickly talk to your pitcher. You don't want to do it 3 times in an inning. I get it. There's a fastball, going to be a ground ball to Elias New. He's going to relay it over to Fensky for the out. That's going to bring in Wohlers to score. So we have a 2-1 game, but now 2 outs here in the top of the second.
And as you said, Casey, Eagan was playing to get the out there, right? There's no need to have the infield come in and try to get them at the plate. Let's just get an out. You know, get out of here with maybe just giving up 1 run as opposed to trying to make a play and then the play's safe at home, and now we got first and third and nobody out. So
yeah, nice job by Elias coming in, charging that just to make sure that
the other thing I like, you can see real quick
fastball, but we're going to keep Jones at third.
Of Fensky, when he caught the ball, kind of coming off the base to say, what's next, right?
Yep.
Where else can I go? Did the guy at third take a big turn?
Exactly.
You know, you like to see that stuff and not just be happy with 1 out. Hey, can we get another one?
Yep.
You know, did he make a big turn? Did he trot? Did he
put yourself
trip?
in the position, if there is a play, to make that play,
Yeah.
right? So 1-0's our count.
Nice job by Brandon, too, on that pass ball to come back and get it.
Fastball in there for a strike. 2 down, top of the second. 2-1 is our score. Eagan Wildcats non-conference game here against the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks.
It was good to see the kids out here for Youth Day as well behind the stadium, you know, catching fly balls and ground balls. And
another ground ball. It's going to be a 3-hopper over to New. New relays it over to Fensky. Fensky's foot is pulled off the base. Be interesting to see if we get a challenge from Coach Butler at all to see if we get a second view from home, but I think that foot just got pulled off at the last second. And that's going to make it a tie game at 2-2.
It doesn't look like anybody's from Eagan, so I think they're okay with it. You can see the replay. You know, one of the things I like, though, I mean, we can see how if the throw was.
Yeah.
But one of the things I like that Griffin did is, you know, ball first.
Yeah.
Right. He stays on the base, that gets by him, and then now he goes to second base, and now we got a chance to take the lead if you're Grand Rapids. So
in a wild way, he almost actually got up and got a tag in to still get the out. So 2-2 game. But Mitchell's done a nice job of coming back from that errant throw by getting 2 ground balls to second. We have the number 9 hitter now hitting, which is the brother of the pitcher, Miles Gunderson. This is Caleb Gunderson. And Shostrand at first. Still no hits here today early on. That pop fly is going to be hit to right to David Rockford, and he's going to bring that in for the 3rd out of the inning. So after that top of the second, we had 2 runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We'll be back in a minute for the bottom of the second of Eagan Wildcat baseball.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
CWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Welcome back. 40 degrees. No sun, but we have baseball here at Eagan. With that, though, we do have the second baseman. It's Elias New, and he's the number 9 hitter, so he's going to be able to flip that lineup over. Quickly, too, we didn't mention before, but I always like to mention the hard-working coaching staff. You got head coach is Steve Butler for Eagan Wildcats. Steve Cullers, who doesn't seem to be here today, Zach Walls, and then Luke Degeman is their pitching coach. Do you know who's coaching first today for Coach Cullers?
I believe it's the freshman coach.
Okay.
I believe that's Paul Weinberg.
Okay.
I believe is who's coaching the first base box today, and he's the freshman coach this year.
All right.
And it looks like with nobody playing but the varsity, he's got
Yep.
the whole staff here, which is great, right? To get to know the kids
Yep.
and continue to see the varsity level for the freshman and sophomore and JV coaches, how things are done at the varsity level. All that just kind of helps and grows too.
So Gunderson, 1-2 pitch. Can be a grounder. We'll see if we can get a beat out here by the speedy New. The throw is in time from Jones to Showstrand. So
That was a nice play.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, for the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks, this is their defensive alignment. Sam Dick, who's getting DH for, is out in left. Nolan Savato center. Kyle Hensky is in right. Got Klaus Jones, who's made that nice play at third. Kyler Miller at short. Caleb Gunderson at second. Easton Showstrand at first. And then David Wohlers is our catcher with Miles Gunderson, the brother of Caleb, on the mound. So second at bat now here for the leadoff hitter Tate Gage, who had a leadoff walk to start the day on a 5-pitch at bat.
It was a nice play by Jones, as we talked about, with cold weather and not a hard hit ball, not rushing himself, setting his feet, putting a good throw. So
Yeah,
nice
I
play.
thought there was a good chance of that being an infield single. So yeah, no, absolutely good relay in time. Gunderson, obviously now, as we talked last inning, is starting to get a little bit more of a groove on that curveball. So 1-2's our count here, one down in the bottom of the second.
Looks to be settling in, throwing a little more for strikes now than he did that first inning.
As he gets a strikeout, the relay from Wohlers to Showstad is in time. So 2 quick outs here for Gunderson as he's settling back in, and that's going to bring in the center fielder, senior George Anderson.
And a nice play by Showstrand, the catcher there, as we just talked about, right? The ball kind of went in. He kind of pointed to the first baseman that there was some communication. We're going inside.
Wohlers.
Wohlers.
Yep, that's right.
One of the things we
Showstrand's
just
at
talked
first,
about.
yep.
Yeah, one of the things
Yep.
we just talked about of, hey, how do you that communication is so key.
Yep, absolutely. So George Anderson, the only hit of today's action, as he had a base hit to right field. Came around and scored as well. That fastball misses outside.
George has been historically a very, very good bunter, both sacrifice bunts and base hit bunts. So
George hits one up the middle. That's going to be to Miller. Miller fields it cleanly. High throw, not in time as George beats it out.
It's the kind of hustle you want to see, right? A ground ball to shortstop that George ran it all the way through it, ran it out, and got himself a chance to get on base. And that's the stuff you don't always see.
The official ruling, I mean, that's got to be an error because they wouldn't have been, fielded out in time per se. But
and you can see George hustling out of the box right away, right? Even though it's, somewhat routine play to the shortstop, the fact you never know, a good hustle.
That was close.
That was very close, very close.
Very close. Nice job by Showstrand to get up and get it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bang-bang play. Maybe those white shoes might have hindered him because it looked like that foot might have came down in time.
What a great
George
jump.
down, gets a great jump. So he takes a bag here. Early one of the season.
He didn't, the dirt wasn't very forgiving there. He didn't really slide. But a great jump. We talked about George. When he gets on the bases, he can do some things, and you saw it there. That jump, I don't know. I mean, a good throw wouldn't even have got him there either. I mean, that was just a great jump. That's anticipation.
Now we see a slap base hit here by Fensky. That's going to bring Anderson around with no throw. So Eagan, a little 2-out rally. As a nice piece of hitting by Fensky to go with that off-speed pitch to right. And, just enough for Henke to have to move to not be able to get a good throw in. Bringing up now the cleanup hitter, the third baseman, senior Will Huseman. So Fensky once again getting another RBI in the season.
And Casey, we talked about that. A ground ball to the shortstop that Eagan runs out hard, stealing second base. Those two things, right, add up to a run.
Yeah,
nice
absolutely.
Jump.
No, for sure. Went with the pitch, didn't try to do too much with it. And I know that obviously Griffin has a lot of pop in his bat. And, that's the one thing that I noticed, at least his first 2 at-bats against Burnsville. No blaming it because I'd be excited too. It just looked like he just wanted to try to put one through the wall, right? And now you can just kind of see settle back in, under power, under control. Curveball in there for a strike. 1-1's our count. Fensky at first, Huseman at the plate. 3-2's our lead with a nice job of manufacturing, right? Manufacturing a run.
Yeah, I think Coach Butler's expecting both Griffin and Will to provide some pop in the lineup here.
There's a ball hit up the middle. That's going to be a nice backhand by Gunderson as he flips it over to Miller. So a nice backhand play by Gunderson to retire Huseman. So for Eagan, though, they do find a way to take the lead as they get one run on one hit, one error, and one left on. And we'll be back in a minute with some more baseball here at Eagan against the Grand Rapids Thundercats.
Wash your hands. Scrub them while you sing this song. Wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Make sure your clothes are dry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold. Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay. Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
And we're going to first take the first air of the day by the booth. They are the Thunderhawks, not the Thundercats, but I guess I was reliving my Saturday morning cartoons there for a second. But you know what? I think I think it's better that we call them the Thundercats than their previous name, right? So I think that's all right. So the Thunderhawks, and as we see now, we're going to come back to the top of the lineup.
So it looks like they've rolled the lineup over here as we start the top of the third inning here for Grand Rapids.
So leadoff hitter is Savatos, the center fielder.
And they, after kind of going down 2-0, last inning, tied back up. So might be one of those games all day long, right? Back and forth, getting guys on base.
Eagan defense, for the most part, playing them straight up. I always try to keep an eye on, third baseman to see if, Will's going to be playing up on the grass for maybe a potential drag bunt. Mitchell's fastball missed outside. 2-1s are count.
It looks like the outfield is pretty straight away. Maybe George just one shade. And I think we might have seen our first flurry this afternoon. So
try to keep it away as much as possible. There's that drag bunt.
Yeah, let's hope we can get the game in before it gets too much of a snow flurry.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was the other night at the Saints game, right?
Yeah.
Weren't the Saints playing somewhere and they were like they're trying to finish it out, and it was 8th or 9th inning, and it was like you could barely even see the ball in between all the flakes. I mean, it was coming down pretty heavy. There's a strike 3.
Nice
as
pitch.
a swing and miss by Savatos.
Well, the weather does not seem to be keeping away the fans here. It's a nice turnout here for the youth day. And a really good sequence there, right? Again, working both sides when need be, working fastball, working slider. As you can see the strikeout here. Working that outside corner very well. I think
and that was almost like a 12-6.
So,
yeah, I mean, that was almost a little bit more of a curveball of a 12-6 action. So, I mean, Coach Butler said that he's fastball slider, but maybe he just changes grips on his slider a little bit so that's the combination, right?
Yeah, I think that play would have been probably a called third strike.
Slow roller, going to be fielded by Huseman. Big hop at the last second. That might have been a tough play anyways to get Gunderson, so they're going to get their first hit of the game, I believe. We'll see what the official scoring is as Gunderson reaches.
Gunderson does run pretty well.
The right fielder,
that's a play that Will, I'm sure, would like to, thinks he can make all the time, and he probably could. It did kind of take that little hop up at the very end, but.
Looks like they actually gave Will an air there, so. No hitter is still intact, and I'm not afraid to say it early enough. I'm not afraid.
Casey said that about 5-6 years ago when my older boy was playing. There was a no-hitter on this day. Eagan beat Grand Rapids, and the kid throwing that day threw a no-hitter for Eagan.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe it's a precursor to what's going to happen here today,
well,
too.
There was a game a couple years ago, and I can't think of the Eagan ace at the time that day. And I think it was Eagan and – it was either Eagan and Burnsville. Burnsville Apple Valley, the kid that got drafted in the second round, I think, was it from Burnsville?
Sam Carlson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was either Carlson or it was the skipper kid from North, and it was like no hits through like 6 innings. I mean, it was just amazing pitching. I mean, it was just dominating.
Well, you talk about some of those names from previous. It just speaks to the depth and the strength of the South Suburban Conference.
100%.
The number of kids here that do have, go on to play someplace in college, and then a few, as you mentioned, are in Sam's case,
in the pros, right?
In the pros, he's getting paid to play. So.
For sure.
But it is a very, very good conference.
Nice pitch there by Mitchell in the outside corner, evening up the count 2-2. You have Gunderson at first, 1 down here in the top of the third. No, I mean, there was that year of like Skipper and Carlson. I mean, it was almost every other home game that you'd have anywhere between 5 and 20 scouts here.
Absolutely.
Whether it was college or pro. I mean, kids were going to Mississippi State, North Carolina. I mean, it wasn't, small D1s, right? It was the big boys. And Eagan had that too, as well as Liam Martin last year.
Correct.
Nice pitch by Mitchell. That's going to be hit down the line. It's going to see if it's going to stay fair. It does not. Stays foul.
Foul by a few feet. Yeah,
Yep.
It was evident by what Farmington won the state tournament, right? A South Suburban team. Was it last year or the year before? So it's
2 years ago, and that was against Park, Park was the one that eliminated
Eagan. Yeah.
Eagan. So, I mean, 2 teams that Eagan had beaten, through the season were the teams that actually made it all the way to the state championship. So, yeah, I mean, definitely talent in this conference. As we've talked about previously, some of the big boys that we talked about on the section side, Rosemont, Lakeville North, Eagan should be in the mix as well. But the conference itself, you have Norris Shakopee, which was a tight game, as we see a strike 3 and another wonderful slider there by
pitch.
Mitchell.
Nice pitch. The conference is always very deep and will be, and I don't think this year will be an exception. So, again, I've been very, very impressed with Will Mitchell here through the first couple innings. You can see the replay here. Just another nice, you said, got almost more of that curveball look, right?
Yep.
That noon to 6 drop on it. But
nice job, too, of framing and placement there by the freshman catcher as well.
And he's really working that inside part of the plate really, really well.
Yeah.
Inside part to the righties, but that really working that side of the plate well.
And I think, too, whether the ump's going to say it or not, but on a cold day like this, I mean, you're not going to have a shoebox zone, right?
Yeah.
So pitchers, if you're around the plate, you probably get the benefit of the doubt, especially if you show consistency after the first inning, right? So 1-2 is our count, as scoreboard's a little bit behind on balls and strikes, but that's okay.
And we've seen it now from both pitchers now. After maybe that first inning, they had a few walks. They've really been very much, case in point, very much around the plate now.
Okay, so now we got 2-2's our count. Yep, 2-2's our count. Oh, still 2-1. 1-2, okay. I think the ump actually screwed me up there for a second because he had 2 fingers up.
I thought it was 2-2 as well. I think he might have gone. I think he might have had 2-2 up there. But
2 outs. Wohlers at first. They keep him, don't send him in motion. Check swinger, they're going to check it. I don't think they need to because it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So we got 2-2. Should be the count.
A good, nice setup. He'd been working so much inside out, and then he throws that little slider kind of going on the other half of the plate. So, again, he's picking his spots very well.
Yeah, and the one thing for the freshman that he's done an excellent job is hasn't had a lot of 3-ball counts. So, I mean, the pitch count should be in place to at least get him probably to the 5th. They would probably hope. It'll be dependent on if they want him to see the lineup a 3rd time around, right? Yeah. This is the 2nd time around, and we've already gotten to the number 4 hitter. So, I think you definitely will see him go through the 4th, and then we'll see if they start bringing in some relief after that. 2-2 is our count, 2 outs here. 3-2 is our score. Eagan leading is another throw over to Fensky.
It looks like Eagan does have someone up in the bullpen. It's like Ryder Lightenberg.
Okay.
So to your point, whether I would think he would finish this inning with 2 outs.
Yep.
And, maybe he's just going to go 3 today. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
See how it shakes out. And I think Coach wants to get probably some guys some innings as well.
Absolutely. There's another strikeout. I believe that would be his 4th or 5th on the day. So excellent job there by Mitchell. So for the Thunderhawks, they have no runs on no hits. There was that 1 error and 1 left on. It's 3-2 going into the bottom of the 3rd. We'll be back in a minute for more baseball here at Eagan Ballpark.
I'm Ryan Blaney, a 3rd-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
You know, Casey, you can see this last strikeout from last inning, and we just talk about for somebody to work the inside of the plate so well, and then throw that slider over the plate that drifts away. Again, just not a freshman. I mean, that is just really, really well done.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I believe, like I said, I believe that was his 4th or 5th strikeout of the day. So once he kind of got settled in after the first, was able to find the zone, and that off speed really was the pitch, was his strikeout pitch for most of the batters, but was also the pitch that was setting up that fastball for him. David Rockford, right fielder, steps on in. He's the Eagan's 5th hitter in their lineup, followed by Lunenburg and Esser. Miles Gunderson still on the mound, the ace, as that ball's popped up down the line, but will be foul as it goes into the batting area for the Wildcats.
And David has had a good start to the year, as we've talked about. Had some very good at-bats, swinging the bat well, some timely hits. And I think he's going to have a pretty solid all year, right? Probably, I'm guessing, in that middle of the order.
Yeah, right. Now, I couldn't remember, did he do some pitching as a sophomore? Or was he just came up more as like a pinch hitter and a pinch runner towards the end of that year?
Yeah, more pinch hitting, pinch running. David pitched, I think, at the younger levels.
Okay.
But I think at the high school level, he's kind of, like I said, played both infield and outfield.
Sure.
Has played a lot of second base, and then they kind of converted him to an outfielder when he got up here to the high school level, based on need at the time.
Right.
And that's the beauty we talked about, bring me athletes. That's what every coach is going to say, and then we'll fill the puzzles in as need be.
So he coaxes a ball in the dirt to make it 3-2 here for the full count for Rockford as he leads off the bottom of the third. Eagan winning 3-2 here early on. Scored 2 in the first, only 1 hit, but 5 walks as Gunderson was still kind of trying to find his rhythm and his zone. Then he gets that curveball as he pulls the string on the outside corner.
That was
Rockford.
A nice pitch. That was actually a very nice pitch.
Yeah, and I think, also, too, I think David was looking fastball right on a 3-2 count. And, and obviously, too, just hit that spot on the outside corner. So excellent pitch as Gunderson has obviously found the feel here as the game has came on after that first inning.
And that's a lot of confidence as well to have a 3-2 full count, to be able to throw that slider as well. And like we talked about, both pitchers are really hitting their spots. And he's looked very good since the first inning.
Yep.
Very good after he settled in a little bit.
Freshman catchers Brandon Lunenburg takes a curveball in there for a strike. 0-2's count. So Gunderson obviously firing away here, strike after strike, other than that last at bat with a three ball pitch or 3-ball count. And really pitched well in the second. I mean, other than Eagan just manufacturing that run like they did. So fastball up. I mean, that kind of was brought to you by the speed of George Anderson, right?
Yeah.
The speed on the base pass to get on to first on that errant throw, and then steals second and comes around on a base hit.
To manufacture a run.
Wohler's going to relay it over to Showstrand for the second out of the inning.
Another nice job by Wohlers on a breaking ball that kind of got Eagan kind of chased him a little bit. He does a nice job blocking it from getting back and getting it out.
So DH is up now. George Esser DHing it for the pitcher's slot, which the starting pitcher has been Will Mitchell.
I still believe one of the toughest positions in all of sport is a catcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's for as much as they, constantly are getting beat up, thinking through the game. I mean, I know that a lot of times, especially with younger catchers, that they're probably getting a sign or, the coaches are going to call it from the dugout. I get it. But, the guys that are having to call the game get beat up back there, patrol the infield, and keep everybody on top of their situations. And then they also are asked to go up there and swing a good bat too, right? So there's something to be said for those guys that excel all around, especially those hitting catchers that also guys that are throwing people out and that are blocking everything in front of them.
Well, I think that just speaks to why, I mean, that Joe Mauer was so special to do what he could do offensively and defensively from that position. It's very difficult because generally it's one or the other, right? They're very good defensively, and then you just kind of put up with what they can do offensively.
There's a reason that a lot of those catchers top out at 240, right? You know what I mean? I know that we don't look at averages like we used to, but no, absolutely. So Esser gets a 2-out walk.
Well, I can think of in the old Metrodome days when they had their glory years when I think they had that sign for Tim Laudner when he was hitting like 190 as a catcher, but did such a nice job behind the plate.
Jones to Showstrand in time for the 3rd out on a 1 pitch to the shortstop, the sophomore Matt Cunningham. So Eagan quickly is retired on 2 strikeouts. So for Eagan there in the bottom of the 3rd, no runs on, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We'll be back in a minute for top of the 4th inning here at Eagan Ballpark.
Piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
We're back here, top of the 4th. Eagan leading 3-2.
You see Connor Straub there on the screen right now, who threw a really, really good game on Wednesday against Shakopee. 4 very, very solid innings. Great command on his fastball, good pop all night. Matt Cunningham comes in and throws a couple innings, and then Griffin Finsky comes in and closes it out. But Connor had a really, really good outing on Wednesday the first time, and they're going to need him this year, right, to be one of their starters on that Wednesday, Thursday spot. I think Danny Lockenmeyer will probably take down the Monday one, or how they're going to structure it. But clearly, Danny's a starter, appears. Connor's a starter, and then they'll get
and
the
if you
third
get the 2
in.
freshmen in there, I mean, you could have a really nice, starting 4, right? And then you got, Roiger and Leitenberg. You got, Fensky to close it. Ground ball once again hit over to New in time to Fensky for the first out of the inning. And that now will bring up the DH, Dominic Broberg.
Elias at second base getting a lot of action this afternoon so far. It appears to be they've been shading most people to the right field, and it seemed like Coach Butler's scouting reports are working because they do seem to be hitting a lot of balls down there. It's got to be, I think, his 3rd ground ball so far today. So
yeah, especially to the righties.
And there's another one.
Exactly. So New to Fensky, getting used to that.
The Eagan battery today, New to Fensky, it looks like.
And only on 1 pitch too, right?
So again, another. What appears to shape up as a very, very quick inning here for Will Mitchell. And again, it all starts with getting ahead of hitters, right? Getting first pitch strikes, get hitters in their defensive position right away, right? And not get them in hitters' counts as quickly. And Will's done a really nice job with that this inning.
Yes, so with that all being said, Adam, we haven't seen any action to short, and we haven't seen a ball hit out of the infield.
No.
As far as for Eagan defense purposes. And we're going to get ground ball hit over to Huseman. Will's going to field it in time to Fensky. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, and probably only about 7 or 8 pitches, which makes us all feel a lot warmer now.
Wow.
No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left out. We'll be back in a minute here for the bottom of the 4th here at Wildcat Ballpark.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I
done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Donating pet food can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
And we're back here. We're going to see a quick replay of that play by Mr. Huseman, my color guy's son, Will. Nice job.
Will did do a nice
in.
job here coming
Yep.
through to come through.
Field off the side with a strong throw on the run.
And I think after that first one a couple innings ago, that kind of took that hop on. I'm sure he's kind of glad to kind of get that one back. So nice play to end the inning. And again, what an outing for Will Mitchell if Weatherby comes back out. But what a nice start.
Now we see a blaze shot by Elias New. This could be triple, folks, so get ready. Elias is going to round second. He's going to find his way to third. We'll see on this relay from Miller to Jones. Not in time. One pitch, triple, and Eagan is knocking once again at the door.
Very solid swing there from Elias. As we've talked about, right? I mean, David Rockford, Elias, George, some of these guys take Gage, they get on the bases, they're going to run. And, Elias, you could tell right away, I think, the minute he hit that, he was thinking three right away and ran the bases very well. And great kind, you can see the swing right here, just straight away center field. And
real nice piece of hitting with those hands, getting through the zone.
And, just hit it over the center fielder's head, and it's going to probably get by him here. And
might have a play here as the relay is not in time from Wohlers to Gunderson. So 2 pitches, triple, run scored. Eagan adds another run to the board, now leading 4-2 with the leadoff hitter Tate Gage, the left fielder, up at the plate.
They had to have 2, and you can see the replay here, and it looks like, tough pitch. I mean, he did what he could, but that was a tough pitch. And again, though, Elias reading that angle, no hesitation, and that was those split-second things that you can't wait for a coach to tell you to go.
Right.
Anticipate, right? Want to get home, and those are those plays that'll continue to matter as the season goes along.
Yeah, I liked what he did. He looked like he took he saw it hit the dirt, took a step, wanted to see how much it was going to truly trickle, and then once he saw that it was going to obviously get 8 feet away from home plate, that's when he broke, and obviously he has the speed to do it. So we've seen now, the last 2 runs by Eagan kind of manufactured by their speed, right? George Anderson, gets on first, steals second, comes around on a base hit to right with his speed, and then now Elias with a blast to center field for a triple, and then comes around on 1 pitch in the dirt. So
you like that anticipation.
It doesn't always have to be, a double to the gap or a home run out of the park, right? To find a way to get a rally going.
Yeah, that was a foul tip. Might have caught the catcher a little bit just in the hand or shoulder. And as we talked about last inning, it's a tough position, especially on a cold day today with the foul balls. And looks like he's okay, but Coach Beller then came out to just give the catcher a little break there, frankly.
So
right?
Remind me, Tate Gage, the youngest of 3?
Yes.
Yep.
3.
Both brothers played?
Both brothers played. A good athletic family.
Yep.
Football players, wrestlers, baseball players. I know one for sure is at Augsburg playing baseball.
Okay.
But I know that, it's been a solid family of athletes that have come through. And we've seen that a few with some of the kids. We mentioned Will Huseman's got an older sister and an older brother that's played sports up here. David Rockford's got a sister that's playing, soccer collegiately. So you see some of that, which is great. The younger brothers and sisters coming through and here up at Eagan.
Gage gets a walk as a nice at-bat there. So Gage on first, still nobody out. Center fielder, senior George Anderson comes to the plate. As we mentioned, has reached base twice already today and scored 2 runs too. So walk in his first at-bat, came around and scored on another walk with bases loaded, and then had had a single in the first inning and then had a walk later on, stole second, and came around and scored on the hit by Fensky. So
that's a good day, right? 2
Yeah.
ups, you're up.
On base percentage,
on base
right?
Both times. And as we've talked about, George is a great bunter. Whether or not he does something here, it looks like maybe he's thinking about doing something, getting guys running around. Or
nobody out. Try to get somebody to second with your big hitters coming up, right? I was interested to see if they either do like they did before, either maybe a hit and run or straight steal. And George also showing potential bunt. There's a little bit of a hit and run. as that one's as the outfielder Sam Dixon run out of real estate there down the left field line.
You know, again, George trying to go the other way for, you know, obvious reason, try to hit the ball the other way. You know, hit and runs are huge, but obviously that more important than anything going the other way is he's got to get on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, that's certainly
Huge
on the
gap.
ground the other way is
Shortstop
ideal.
Covering,
yeah,
yep,
but
shortstop covering second. You have a big hole there. 1-2's our count. Gage at first. Ball's going to be hit. Nice play there by Gunderson, and he's going to relay it over to Showstrand for an out. So
good contact.
yeah, just a tough double play. It's one that
play.
you know, if there was some wind, it looked like it was holding up for a split second. I think Gage thought it was going to get over Gunderson's head. I mean, a nice piece of hitting by Anderson, as we can see here. But you know, Gunderson had to use all of his all of his jumping ability in his cold legs, probably.
Yeah, I don't think that Tate was stealing. Maybe
no,
get a little too far off. But those are tough. Those are bang plays.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to know those line drives. And to your point, when off the bat, it looked like right away it was going to get over his head.
Yeah, well,
but good swing by George.
Gets over his head, he's probably sitting on third because that ball's hit somewhat in the gap, right? So
absolutely.
Senior Griffin Fensky, first baseman, now up at the plate, had an RBI single his last at bat as he brought in George Anderson. 4-2's our score. Eagan with 3 hits on the board. This last inning had a leadoff triple by Elias New, the second baseman for the Wildcats.
I think any coach would love to have just be aggressive on the bases, and you know sometimes that's going to happen. But
fastball misses up. For the most part, Gunderson's been throwing fastball, curveball today. I haven't really seen a changeup yet. 3-1's our count. Fensky looks all the way, and that's going to bring up the senior third baseman, Will Huseman, as Fensky's going to take his trot down to first. We got our student manager up here doing the 1s and 2s, DJ Mike. I don't know if he has a DJ name. I guess he could tell us if he does, but does a nice job of the production. You know, they took away a job from me this year, which I kind of like. I used to have to do everything, right? Scoreboard, radio, PA, or music, excuse me.
Now you get bored up here.
Wow, that's okay. I got you here, so.
That's nice. I think a lot of the kids have the walk-up songs, which is kind of fun. They get a chance to do
absolutely.
that. Walk-up
songs for the hitters. Come onto the mound songs, however you want to say it. Announce your presence songs for the pitchers, right? So Fensky's on first, 2 down. 4-2 is our score as we see a throw over from Gunderson to Showstrand. Not too many balls hit to the outfield today. So far, none by Grand Rapids. And Fensky's going to find his way to second on a stolen base. Yeah, it looks like Wohlers just couldn't get a grip on it. Otherwise, we might have seen, a little bang play there.
Actually, came out of the crouch, nice grab. And you're right, he couldn't grab couldn't grab it right away.
Yeah, good jump by Griffin. Quickly gets in. That ball's hit to right in front of Henke, and that's going to bring Fensky around to score. So Huseman finds himself with an RBI single down the right field line. I wasn't sure if that was going to hold up long enough for Henke to come in and make the catch, but I think Will did a nice piece. Kind of fouled out, kind of battled off maybe that inside curveball.
Looks like he got a little bit in on the hands there, but he got enough of the barrel on it.
Absolutely. Nope, absolutely.
And as we've talked about, just aggressive bases, right? Griffin stealing second base, and there's a run.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't get that good jumping at a base. You know, he's obviously not going to score there. So, but it's what every coach is going to want, though. A couple times, 2-out hits, right? That have been able to get a couple runs in.
So 5-2 is our score. Waiting for the scoreboard to catch up.
Brings
Not
up
for
David
Eagan
Rockford.
TV, but just for at the ballpark here.
And, David Rockford up here, and we'll see if he puts Will in motion here or not. He looks like he's moved a few guys around.
Yep.
We'll see if he thinks Will can get a base here or not.
Curveball misses low by Gunderson. There has been a little bit of action earlier by Grand Rapids. I think it might have been Euro Lampa might have been throwing a little bit, so we'll see what happens here on their side. Curveball misses outside. 3-0 quick count here to Rockford. As they hope to bring up that freshman hitting catcher, Brandon Lundberg.
I would think that he would have the take here.
Yeah. Pretty safe, especially the lead, right?
Yeah. I would think if he swung at that one, Coach Buller may have a word with him or two, right?
But I will say this. I mean, the 3-0 take, as they're going to send Will down, but
Not
A lot
quite
of
sure-
show there, right?
Not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah.
I think Will thought. Well, I don't know what he would have thought because.
Well, I think they were sending him. I think essentially if it was going to be a strike, just to take a chance, right? So, but anyways, Rockford, all in all.
But overrunning second base is generally.
Good thing is he didn't get hurt there.
Yeah.
So.
Generally not something they do.
So that's going to bring up as we see the replay. I mean, we do get
I'm not exactly
strong
sure.
throw.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Even Will's smiling at that one. Wonder what.
So now we will get our first pitching change. It's going to be they're going to bring in number 8, which is the DH, Dominic Broberg, for Gunderson. So they're going to basically just drop the DH, it looks like, and Broberg now be playing in the field.
I got to. I want to be in the huddle for Eagan right now as they're walking through that on Will. What were you thinking? I'm sure Coach Butler's even laughing a little bit there, like what was going on. But fortunately, it didn't work. But not a bad outing though for Grand Rapids, especially the first game. I thought he threw pretty well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, settled in after the first. I mean, there was only one hit, and unfortunately, just had a little tough time finding the zone. So that's where obviously Eagan was able to kind of walk around the bases in a sense. But with that being said, settled back in and.
Donating pet food can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
How you holding up? Nothing wrong with getting help. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
So as we mentioned before, Dominic Broberg, who was DHing for the left fielder Sam Dick, is now pitching. And it looks like they're going to have to see some changes around the field, which is hard for me to gather them all here quickly. And now it looks like Grand Rapids is trying to play with 10 players for a second, but now they got to figure it out. So yes, they're taking out. Okay, so here's our changes. So we got Broberg is now in the game. Sam Dick, the left fielder who is getting batted for by Broberg, is out. The pitcher, Gunderson, will be going out to right. And then now the right fielder, which was Henke, is sliding over to left. So there you go. Now you're caught up. So now the outfield will go Henke, Savatos, Gunderson. And then with that being said, we have the freshman catcher, Brandon Lunenberg, up at the plate. First pitch by Broberg. Hit a hot shot right back to Broberg, but able to get a glove on it. Relay is in time to Sjostrand to retire Lunenberg. But Eagan does strike twice in the bottom of the fourth. 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors and nobody left on. 1 on left on, excuse me. We'll be back in a minute for the top of the 5th here at Wildcat Ballpark. Alrighty, and we're back. And with that being said, a little AC/DC being played.
Look at this. I love it.
So we got Ryder Leitenberg.
And it is 5-2 Eagan.
Yep, 5-2 Eagan. Ryder Leitenberg on the mound. And we think that this might be a little bit maybe of an homage to his dad, Kerry Leitenberg. Maybe Kerry's pitching, come on the mound song was AC/DC as well. So.
And we mentioned, kind of siblings that are playing, and Ryder's brother Reese plays up at, North Dakota State.
Actually, this is Metallica.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. I thought it was AC/DC for a second. I thought we were listening to HE double hockey stick bells, but it's Metallica instead. So, but either way, it could be an homage to his dad, or just maybe he's a fan of the 90s rock.
Look, Casey, we don't call you the best in the business for nothing.
Yeah. Well, for Eagan, looks like everybody's still no substitutions yet, other than Leitenberg with his first substitution. So we don't have the book per se on Mitchell, but an excellent outing by the freshman. And I'll let you kind of walk through what you saw with that freshman Will Mitchell here earlier.
Well, what the book on him is look at the board, right? It's 2 runs on no hits. So Will Mitchell would had an outstanding first outing at the varsity level. I mean, to go 4 innings and give up no hits is pretty impressive for anybody, whether it's any grade. But as a freshman coming in here and doing that, breaking ball was good, worked his fastball inside of the plate, outside of the plate. So very impressive first outing for Will Mitchell.
No, absolutely.
I know Ryder's going to want to come in and keep that board intact, what's out there now in the hit column for Grand Rapids. So
absolutely.
And in Ryder's previous outing this year, he threw very well.
Yeah, I thought he threw well, on Monday, too, in Burnsville when he came in. So has a little bit of the over-the-top kind of that, 1-7 curveball. Fastball misses up. Has good snap, though. And I think, the other thing, too, is that his arm slot, I think, allows him to kind of disguise, the pitch he's throwing, right? The way he kind of coils it, and then it comes over the top.
Yes. And, pitching has certainly not been the issue at all this year for Eagan. I would say their pitching's been very good. Even that one, the aforementioned bad inning they had at Burnsville was definitely not pitching related, right? They had a few defensive lapses, but their pitching, knock on wood, has been very good.
Little get me over strike there on 3-1, so full count as he tries to retire the number 8 hitter, Shostre, on the first baseman. Wind is now picking up, still going northwest. Outside corner for strike 3. So excellent job of coming back after you almost lost Shostran with a 3-1 count, bringing up the second baseman, Caleb Gunderson.
So really nice pitch there on the outside half for Ryder Leitenberg. So a good way to come in and start the game and keep what appears to be a very good line for the Eagan pitching intact today.
We did notice on Monday we had a couple hockey guys with the no sleeves, but today I think that's smarter minds prevailed, right? Or maybe coaching says, let's not hurt our arms today.
Yeah, let's put some sleeves on today.
So Gunderson, the second baseman, brother of the starting pitcher, Miles Gunderson. There's another off speed in there for a strike. 0-2 quickly. So Leitenberg finding the zone here quickly.
Ryder looking very good today. Looks like he might be coming in maybe inside here, setting up.
Nice
he hit
pitch.
A spot exactly where they set up.
Excellent. So 2 quick strikeouts for
that was
Ryder
a very
Leitenberg.
Impressive just sequence right there in terms of both sides of the plate. It looks like where they tried to set up, he was able to hit his spots both times. So yeah, very good start here to the 5th inning.
And now he gets what he's been waiting for all day, a little lefty-lefty matchup, right? So now we've got, I think, 6 strikes in a row here for Ryder. He went 3-1, came back, strike out, 3 straight strikes, and then now a quick strike. Or did they call that a ball?
They called that a ball. I thought it was.
I would have called it a strike.
I thought it was a strike too. I thought I missed it, but it is 1-1.
That's all right. He's been around the zone.
Yep. And as we talked, even though it was called, he's not missing much. He's definitely on both sides of the plate, working it very well.
Fastball again, outside corner in for a strike. Yep, absolutely. Got another lefty getting loose in the pen.
Luke Roiger.
Yeah, Luke Roiger. So we'll see if it's a 1 inning and out, or if it's maybe 2 innings and they go to Roiger. But as you mentioned too, right? You want to get some work in.
Yeah.
Got a game coming around on Monday as well. Nice piece of hitting, getting out of the way there by Savatos.
He has he's working both sides of the plate very well.
It looked like that was a business decision swing, right? Just find a way to get a bat on it, because otherwise I don't think I wanted to get hit on the hands there.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit today. It would be, well, any day, but it's definitely today.
1-2 pitch, balls hit up the middle. Going to be fielded by New, but the speedy Savatos would have beaten that out. So there's our first hit of the day, but still excellent pitching by Ryder Leitenberg, and as well as Will Mitchell did previously.
Absolutely, and I think once Matt Cunningham couldn't get that, that would have been a very, very tough play for Elias. I mean, obviously Matt's coming towards first base. That would have been a tough play for Elias going the other way to get that. But no, nice piece of hitting. 2 strikes, put the ball in play. You
I think the best chance there would have if Ryder was able to get a glove down. And if he's a righty, he probably does get his glove down. But as a lefty, he had to try to kind of go around and almost backhand. So nope, just good piece of hitting by Savatos, and as he fouled that one off previously to keep that bat alive. And yeah, I think like you said, I think if Cunningham is able to get over there and cut it off, maybe you have a play.
Nice
here we go, a little pickoff. Drop by Fensky, though, is going to allow Savatos to get to second. Excellent pickoff, though, by Ryder.
And a great move by Ryder. It almost looked like the runner was going, though, on first movement, because he was gone right away.
Yep.
Seemed like he was halfway to second by the time, Griffin got the ball, so it looked like just first movement there. But, yeah, nice pickoff play. It just cold weather, just couldn't get a hold of it. Griffin throwing it to first, but it's a good jump by Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and you saw a little bit of that all-section last year all-section speed by Savatos, right? He was all-section for their playoffs or for the tournament. Once again, we're reminding Grand Rapids coming off of an excellent season last year, 4th in the state in 3A, 6 returning starters. So they're obviously excited to get their campaign for 2023 going. Ball gets past Lunenburg, so that's going to move Savatos over to third. 5-2 is our score.
And you saw Savatos. He can run.
Yeah.
He is quick.
Yeah. Well, and you haven't really, he's only been tested, really wasn't tested other than the laser hit by Elias New to center. So, I mean, we really haven't had a chance to see that speed, whether it's, running gap to gap or coming in on a ball hit to the outfield. So 1-2's our count, 2 down. Fastball's out to the now playing right fielder, Miles Gunderson, who started the game on the mound. Gunderson was a all-state player, or all-state tourney team last year. All-section season, all-section playoffs. Fastball misses again, so 3-2's our count.
I was talking to the Grand Rapids coach. He was kind of saying, so many of their games it can be a couple-hour drive on a lot of them. I mean, not all of them. They play up in Duluth, but they come down to Hermantown. They come to Princeton. They definitely it's an excursion, some of these, but we're happy to have them. I'm glad they come down. This is several years that they've come down here to play Eagan. And I'm glad. I think both sides are glad to do it. It's a fun non-conference game. Years ago, they used to kind of be partnered up with Bemidji, and Bemidji and Grand Rapids would come down. One would play Eden Prairie, one would play Eagan, and they'd flip-flop. So I'm glad that Grand Rapids still comes down and do this, because it's fun.
I'm guessing, too, not to cut you off, I'm guessing, too, where the travel probably really comes in is once they get to section, right? Because, their conference is probably a mixture of, 3 and 4A, maybe even some 2A schools, right? You probably get to that section, and now it's really spread out to try to go find other 3A teams, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's part of it. We get our first mound visit by Luke Degeman, the new pitching coach this season for the Wildcats. Just kind of going out there to tell Ryder, hey, you got a 3-run lead, got 2 outs, keep doing what you're doing those first 2 batters. Get ahead early, right, like he was previously.
Casey, you mentioned, obviously, with having a son on the team. Will has talked about the Eagan coaching in general. You mentioned Degeman, you mentioned, obviously, Butler, but just the whole staff that's put together, I think they do a really nice job with the kids.
Ground ball to Elias New, underhand flip to Fensky, and they come out of the inning unscathed. So Grand Rapids does get their first hit of the game. So they get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We'll be back in a minute for the bottom of the 5th inning here at Wildcat Ballpark. For the Thunderhawks in the top of the 5th.
wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash your hands. Scrub it while you sing this song. Wash, washy, wash, washy, wash, wash. Rub your hands and fingers and the places in between. Using soap and water makes your hands so clean. Wash your hands. Great job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now dry.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds, just like Elmo.
Welcome back, Casey Lux, joined by Adam Hughesman here today on this overcast 40-degree day. But hey, we're still playing baseball. We still got a nice crowd as well. As this been a celebration of Eagan Baseball and Eagan Baseball Association. We also want to quickly thank all the crew here from Eagan TV. They do an excellent job, as always, putting together the production. The fellas in the truck, fellas and ladies on the camera that are surviving the elements with us and giving us this wonderful feed here of high school baseball.
In case we've said it every broadcast, but it can't be said enough. A huge shout out to ETV for doing all these games. I know the kids love it. The kids' parents, grandparents, friends and family that can't make games love it. So thank you, Eagan TV. It's pretty special. These boys can both look at this back and also that family that don't live here or can't get out to the ballpark to see the game. So
absolutely. DH George Esser at the plate.
And we thank you for all your time for doing this. You've done it. You.
Oh, me.
You
okay.
specifically. Yeah.
Well,
like you said,
I do it for my buddy Coach Butler. I've known him for 20-plus years. We played college ball together, so I'm happy to help him because I know how much he puts into this program and how much he cares about not only baseball but all these kids in the program. Big swing by Esser. So yeah, no, happy to help. This has been a lot of fun. Been along since he started, so I've got, like I said, we've, some of the players now I've had multiple brothers, right, on the team. So got to know the parents, got to know you. So it's been a lot of fun. Jack Esser obviously does a lot. Speaking of, the DH George's dad, he's pretty much was the main man here for today of getting everything in place to have this run smoothly, which it has.
Well, this is about the kids, but George Esser's father, Jack, has done so much for Eagan baseball and Eagan football.
That ball's hit straight back. It might be on the top of our roof.
I've been involved with Eagan sports through my children for the better part of 12 years. I've served as president and vice president of booster clubs. And I only say that to say I didn't do anything compared to what Jack Esser has done for football and baseball. He is a tireless worker. Thinks nothing but the kids and what he can do for the program, and a huge, huge shout out to Jack.
Mr. St. John's too, Mr. Amon too. That did a lot of work over the years with all of his boys playing, right? Fastball on the outside corner that I don't think George doesn't even necessarily want back because I think he thought that was low and outside. But either way, Broberg gets a strikeout, and that now bring up the shortstop, the sophomore Matt Cunningham.
A steady diet of off-speed pitches too to George.
Yeah,
which is probably what he's going to have to learn to, over the course of the year, because I imagine he'll get a steady diet of those most of the time.
Correct. Yep. There's another off-speed.
He's not
going to
probably see
corner.
a lot of fastballs. They get in the conference play either. So.
Yeah, and for the most part, Grand Rapids' defense is still the same as they started with. The only real changes is they slid Henke from right to left. When Gunderson came out of the game, Miles Gunderson, the starting pitcher, went to right field, and they dropped the DH, and now Broberg, the DH, is on the mound. So Broberg's getting his first action of the day. Nobody in the bullpen for Grand Rapids. We still see Luke Roiger getting loose out in the pen for Eagan. So we'll see if they go to him right away in the 6th or if they bring back Ryder Leitenberg.
And a little unorthodox lineup in that the DH was for the left fielder, which you don't always see initially. I think that threw us all thinking through that. So.
But their plan was obviously to bring him in probably to pitch anyways, right? So they just figured they'd, DH early. So popped up by Cunningham. That's going to be fielded and caught by the first baseman, Easton Showstrand. So Broberg doing a nice job here coming in, getting some outs. And then now we're going to see Mr. Triple, Mr. Speed, right? Elias New, the second baseman, who's had a great game. A lot of action at second. And at the same time, one pitch and crushed the center. Good job here by Easton Showstrand, just getting back. You got to play that win and then getting underneath it. So Elias saw that first pitch, crushed it for a triple. This one he's going to take a big shot. Gunderson's going to try to get under it. That's going to be at the base of the wall. So it looks like Elias is trying to go for that cycle here today. And once again on the first pitch. So, it's pretty impressive when your number 9 hitter not only has pop, but has that much confidence to go up there and be ready to hit that first pitch.
Yeah, I thought I didn't think that was hit that well at the start, but the wind kind of took that a little bit. But he hit it well. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't think it was going to get quite that deep.
Well, and Gunderson did a good job of tracking it. I think he was. I don't think similar to you and I think he was thinking it wasn't hit as far as it was. It carried, and he was also trying to find the fence at the last minute. So, 2-out double, ground ball by the leadoff hitter.
Nice
Tate
play by
Gage.
Coach Walls over there.
Coach Walls
third base.
showing those hands off, the mitts.
Hey, it's for the kids, Coach. That's what we quit showing off. I like Elias jump. 2 fastballs right away. Jumped on both of them. Right, wasn't gonna.
Well, and as a guy batting down in the lineup, you're more than likely going to see fastballs early. So if you have the mindset to be ready to hit right away, right?
Yeah.
So 2 swings, triple and a double for Elias New. So he's having kind of a little bit of a coming out game here early in the season for himself. And as we mentioned too, just a solid job at second base. Turned that first inning double play that went Huseman to New to Fensky. 1-1 count. Swung on and missed off speed low by Broberg to Tate Gage, the left fielder. 5-2's our score here. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And Elias getting a great secondary lead. I think will easily score on a base hit. He's getting a great jump off, which is what you want with 2 outs. I mean, certainly.
Ball's hit to Kyler Miller. Miller's relay in time to Showstrand as they retire Gage. So for Eagan, though, they do get that double, but don't bring New around to score. No runs on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left on. We'll be back for the top of the 6th inning here at Eagan.
I got some batteries and 2 flashlights.
What's up, champ? I feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations,
Alrighty, so we're going to go lefty here. Welcome back here to Eagan to Wildcat Park. We have Luke Roiger on the mound as he's going to replace Ryder Leitenberg, and we'll see if it's a 2-inning job. We'll see. I think we might have a little bit of action, so they might go, string out 3 pitchers the last 3 innings, right?
Get some guys some work. That makes sense. And I think Will Mitchell threw great. Ryder Leitenberg threw great. Ryder threw great on Monday against Burnsville. Luke threw great on Monday against Burnsville as well. So it's nice to get some guys some work here today, but because these will be very valuable here for everybody as we get deeper into the season and then, hopefully through a nice long section tournament run.
Well, I think, too, I think it's key if because Minnesota weather in the spring is so unpredictable the way it is. I think it's key if you can kind of get, a semi-rotation, semi-schedule for your pitchers, especially those guys that only pitch, because they're just so much more comfortable on the mound when they go, okay, I know that more than likely, every other game I'm going to be the 5th, 6th inning guy. I'm going to be, and then, obviously in a close game, they're going to set it up for probably Fensky to come in and close the door.
And Fensky has proven so far that every time he's been called upon, he has done a very, very good job closing out games. You mentioned, on just Wednesday when they played Shakopee, 4-3 game, and he came in the 7th and threw really, really well. So that'll be nice if they can get to him in the 7th inning. It means they've got a nice lead, or hopefully a lead, and hopefully can close the door on it.
Now wind's picking back up, so probably in that 15 to 20 mile an hour range. And first pitch by Roiger is going to hit Wohlers, the catcher, so he's going to get a free base on one pitch, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kyler Miller.
The outfield now, it looks like they have, the outfield is really shady now over to right field.
Ooh.
Cut him on the calf
Yeah,
there, or
yeah.
behind the knee.
It's going to sting.
That's going to sting, especially in this weather.
He wishes he had his shin guards on for that one. So we'll see what they do with Wohlers at first, if they put him in motion. Down by 3, so they're not necessarily playing for the big inning per se, but they also don't want to run themselves out of a possible scoring opportunity. Fastball just missed it in the outside corner. 1-1's our count. Top of the 6, 5-2 Eagan in the non-conference game against Grand Rapids Thunderhawks.
And the wind is definitely blowing out to right center or so they're shading that way as well.
There's a nice fastball in the inside corner by Roiger.
And they're going to need Luke and Ryder a lot out of the bullpen. I mean, at least that's how it's setting up. They'll be in the bullpen, but 2 lefty seniors to come out, and in meaningful innings. There's
ground ball. Huseman to news relay, not in time. Defensky, but does get the lead runner in Wohlers at second. Another nice job by the pitching staff of inducing a ground ball over to Huseman.
Not hit real hard. That would have been, I think, tough to turn that, but you can say that's definitely get that first out, which is great.
I think Coach Butler might be just asking maybe if there's any interference maybe by Wohlers sliding into second, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like it necessarily affected Elias's throw per se, but I think he's just asking, making sure maybe that he slid straight into the base as opposed to, right or left, right?
Sure.
But anyways, that's going to bring up the third baseman, Klaus Jones.
But it's as you know, as we've talked about the first inning, you got to get the first out, right?
Yep.
I mean, and especially in a ball that wasn't hit all that hard. And Will did a nice job, Elias did a nice job, and get the lead runner.
Well, and I think Miller was moving real well down the base pass. So I mean, that's just even on a perfect day with no wind and it's 75 degrees, you're probably not turning that play. So just getting that first out, keep any comeback at bay per se. Roiger's pitch outside, 2-0 quickly to Klaus Jones, the third baseman. Kyler Miller at first. 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Trying to see our pace of play here so far. We're not too bad. So far, 95 minutes into today's action.
There were they had a couple games that went, flirting with 3 hours on a few of those, but good pace today. And we talked about earlier broadcast. I think we both are kind of a fan of some of the things they're doing in Major League Baseball now too.
Fastball misses out, so 3-1 now is our count. Roiger, lefty-lefty matchup to Klaus Jones, third baseman for Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids yet to test Lunenburg at catcher as Roiger comes back with a strike down the middle.
Nice pitch by Luke there. No, they have not, so we'll see if they put anybody in motion here this inning or the next inning, based probably on what circumstances.
Yeah, I think if they had, Savatos was on, they're probably, that's the guy they're probably going to send, right? But fastball's up and out, so now we're going to see the pitcher, Dominic Broberg.
Well, now with first and second and 1 out, certainly the middle of play for double play, but you got outs everywhere now, so field the ball, touch your base. So
Kyler Miller, shortstop at second. Klaus Jones, the third baseman, now at first. Another
mound visit.
Pitching coach Luke Degeman just gonna talk through probably the sequence and see what they can do as far as getting ahead early.
Nobody in the Wildcat bullpen, so it looks like Luke definitely is gonna get a chance to work out of this inning. But as you said earlier, we'll see if he finishes the 7th or not. Probably see how this inning ends up.
Yeah, the tough thing is on these early season cold games, when you do have a weapon like Fensky as your closer, right? You'd like to get through this inning so at least the kid can go and throw in the pen a little bit if you're going to bring him in to try to close it out. Just to bring him in kind of cold off of first base isn't always the best avenue, especially if you have guys on bases and so forth. Not that he can't handle a pressure situation, but in a perfect world, you just like it to be clean bases and a clean inning.
even on a warm day, right? That's hard, let alone on a day like today. So you
Miller
always
at
want to get
second, Jones at first, Roiger on the mound, Broberg at the bat. Pitcher battle here as he gets that first one across, as Broberg came in relief of Miles Gunderson for Grand Rapids.
First pitch strike, so you like to see that, get ahead in the count.
Gunderson went into the 4th inning, and then Broberg finished the 4th as well as the 5th, and we'll see if they bring him back out for the 6th as well.
Another nice pitch by Luke.
Yeah, it looks like maybe that talk to is, hey, let's get back to some fastballs here early in the count, right?
Throw strikes, make him do something with it. And he clearly did here the first two.
Now we're going to work outside here. I can see maybe a changeup or a curveball outside corner.
Oh,
there
nice.
it is.
Very nice.
Absolutely. So 1, 2, 3, and Broberg is retired.
Yeah. I have been impressed with all 3 of the Eagan pitches so far in this regard. And you can see it right here. Where he was set up, maybe went a little bit more, but for the most part, all 3, Will Mitchell, Ryder Leitenberg, Luke Roiger, in most of the time, they're hitting the spots that they're trying to do, so they're executing against what they're trying to do.
And it looked like, too, like that was, wasn't as a hard, sharp curveball that he was throwing earlier. It was more of just kind of take a little bit something off.
Big leaguers don't hit their spot 100% of the time, but I would say for a cold day, for a high school baseball game, I think they've done a very nice job executing what appears what they try to want to do based on their setup.
No, absolutely. Lunenburg setting up on the outside corner, misses a little bit out, so 2-0 here to first baseman Easton Showstrand. 5-2 is our score. Top of the 6th here in Eagan at Wildcat Ballpark. You can see the runners in action. Miller, throw
jump.
down by Ludo. Dropped by Hughesman at the last second.
Nice jump. A great throw, though, by Brandon. Great throw.
Kind of bang there as Miller finds a way to third, gets a stolen base, first on the year.
Nice play by Brandon. Get out of there and throw it down.
Yeah. And, it's kind of one of those things, too. Everything worked well. It was on a fastball, so it wasn't an off speed. It wasn't anything in the dirt. Strong throw by Brandon in place.
It looks like.
And maybe Will just trying to maybe get the tag down just a half a second early, or just could have popped out of the glove type of thing. 2-1's our count, 2 down. Jones at first, Miller at third. Ball's fouled back by Showstrand.
You generally don't see a lot of times stealing, with third with 2 outs.
You don't want to make the third out of third, right?
Clearly they saw something that they liked, though, right? They could be getting a good jump. Maybe
or
Luke,
timing Luke's delivery.
Luke wasn't looking back much as things. So, credit Grand Rapids of, hey, they're going to give us 90 feet, we'll take it. Now, I wonder if that was something completely on his own because the guy at first didn't go. So
I was thinking the same thing. I don't think it was a double steal. I think it was either on his own. I mean, usually you don't give a steal sign just to one guy, right?
So maybe it's the green light. Hey, if you see something you like, do it. Now, again, with 2 outs, you don't see it a lot. But
3-2's our count as that fastball just missed up. Nice job by Griffin of getting off the base and saving that run from third.
So he'll the first guy in first will obviously be in motion now. Full count, 2 outs.
Yep, more than likely your plays at first unless it's up the middle. They can flip it to each other. Roiger to Showstrand. Fouled straight back.
Nice
so
pitch.
Showstrand doing a nice job here of fighting and staying alive.
That was a nice swing. Nice cut.
Yeah, it looks like, at least the Showstrand, looks like Luke's trying to work a little bit of the top half of the zone.
Yeah.
So that might set up that curveball inside here. Ground ball to New, who's had about 8 of them today. Flips it over to Fensky in time, and Eagan gets out of the inning unscathed. So Grand Rapids, no hits, no runs, no errors. 2 left on. We'll be back for the bottom of the 6th inning here at Wildcat Ballpark.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Alrighty, here we go. Upcoming coverage, Eagan TV. We have Monday. You're back here with my voice, I guess. Not Adam, though. He won't be here. I think Mike Wobskall will be on the call with me for his first introduction to Eagan baseball. So that's Monday, 4:30, Farmington here against Eagan. We also have some more Eagan baseball, Apple Valley at Eagan, which will be Wednesday, April 26th.
I'll be back for that one.
There we go. And then boys and girls lacrosse, Farmington at Eagan, Thursday, 5:30. So you get a lot of Eagan and Farmington next week if you want to keep the rivalry going on that end.
And again, we can't say it enough. Thank you, Eagan TV, for all this great coverage for all the sports.
George Anderson fakes that bunt there, so we're going to go 2, 3, 4 here. Anderson, Fensky, Huseman here in the bottom of the 6. I failed to mention we have a new pitcher on the mound, and that's going to be number 2, Easton Showstrand.
And we talked about George a little bit all year with the bunting, and there you tried to lay one down for a base hit bunt, and he's as good as anyone in the team in terms of bunting.
I think that'll mean that we'll have a new first baseman here, which we'll get in a second. Ground ball hit over to Klaus Jones. Klaus Jones looks like he might have stepped on a sprinkler head for a second, but still gets it over in time to Gavin Moen at first.
Little collision there at first. Certainly both tried to get out of the way there, but you mentioned kind of stumbling with their feet, and we talk about all the time the first inning with Will Mitchell, how much you throw with your feet, right? If your feet are set, good things happen. If once they don't,
yeah,
so that was just a pure accident
left foot
there.
Looks like just that cleat dug in a second, but luckily it didn't didn't rise the ball too much for him, and still was able to get the Speedy Anderson at first.
Collision at first. Fortunately, everybody looks like they're okay.
As we mentioned, Moen now at first, as Showstrand now on the mound. So both teams have gone to 3 pitchers here today,
which I'm sure was probably by design, right? To get some of the kids some work.
Griffin Fensky up at the plate, had an RBI single that brought in Anderson in the second. There's a rip to right field. Gunderson's going to give a run and makes the play. It might not even be Gunderson. I can't see the number out there, but nice job of running that one down as the wind looked like it died down a tad bit. Okay, yeah, so Henke is over there now. I think they just flipped Gunderson and Henke back now. So they just want to keep me on my toes, I think.
That kind of surprised me because I actually thought that ball was hit better than Elias's, right at contact. So very nice play by Henke to run that down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was going to keep drifting to the corner.
Yeah. Senior third baseman Will Huseman now up at the plate. Lefty-lefty action. Showstrand over for a ball. Another one outside.
Was that for one a ball or a strike? I thought it was.
Yeah. He hasn't. He hasn't showed the call here too much here behind home plate. I think he's just staying warm. Will's gonna have to shake that one off. I don't even think you want to put ice on a day like this today, right?
I'm not sure where that hit him.
I think it got top shoulder, maybe. Yeah.
Hopefully top and not the elbow. That'll hurt a little more.
Yeah.
You can see the replay. It kind of caught him.
Kind of in between the elbow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Tricep. Maybe Coach Butler's got some hand warmers to slide underneath his arm or something.
Or you might just pop out there to remind him if he stows, you need to slide.
Or is he doing is he gonna do like a magic Mr. Miyagi magic
karate
move here?
After overrunning second base, maybe it was just a little reminder, like, hey, you know what, we just overrun first.
Showstrand now seeing back-to-back lefties here. So David Rockford, the right fielder, up. Huseman at first. 2 down here. Bottom of the 6th. Eagan winning 5-2.
And, pretty clean baseball game so far, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had one inning where a few walks on both sides, but pretty clean.
There's a hot shot that gets
David
past
hit
Moen
that ball well.
for a base hit. Huseman's going to glide his way over to third as David Rockford picks up a hit here in the 6th.
Sharply hit ball there. It's a good swing there by David.
Yeah,
That
it looks
ball
like Shostrand tried to come in with a curveball there, and David was looking for it. And got those hands through the zone quickly, and that ball got on first baseman Moen quickly.
See the replay, a great swing by David there.
Because you can see Moen patting his gloves, saying that just a half a second away from it.
And we'll see. I don't know. It's up 5-2, first, third, 2 outs. We'll see if he wants to put anybody in motion here. Looks like a little more of a delayed walk down, but Grand Rapids is okay with letting them take it.
Yeah, maybe the easiest steal that David will get all year.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I think it's called catcher's indifference, but
yeah.
I don't know if they give that major league type of lingo for a high school angle. So catcher is Brandon Lunenberg is up.
And I don't know if you could, obviously if they fully see it at home, but David just kind of almost walks to second base to see if he can't draw a throw.
Yep.
Maybe get in the hot box and free it up. But Grand Rapids wasn't having it.
Good time to work on it if you're Eagan. At the same time, you're sitting there going, well, Grand Rapids is first game of the year. Let's see how they kind of respond to it too, right? So.
I kind of thought for that very reason with the non-conference, if Grand Rapids would have put something on, even to have the boys execute it, right?
Sure.
Even though if they would have given up a run and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Do you work on that cutoff play where the shortstop cuts it off and try to come it, or any of those things?
Yeah.
But it looks like they just wanted to give up the 90 feet.
So second and third, Rockford at second, Huseman at third. Lunenberg hits that one right side to first baseman Moen, who's under it, makes the catch. So Eagan in the bottom of the 6th, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We'll be back for the top of the 7th here at Wildcat Ballpark.
Hey, we should volunteer for this.
I wish I had time.
Scrolling all day, time can disappear. Wanna make it count, why not volunteer?
Posting pics of your food, that takes up time. Maybe just eat me, I don't really mind.
Time, you've got time. As your reflection, it's my duty to say.
Time, I've got time.
All my pics are the same.
I am some eggs.
10 hours a week deciding where to go eat.
Well, where do you want to eat? Maybe let's not go out to eat.
You paint your walls from cream to white, and from white to cream, then back to white.
Time, you've got time. To binge all of season 9, though it got so bad.
Time, you've got time. We're gonna grow back and be the same brows you had.
Time, you got time.
Listen to my plea as I harmonize.
Time, you've got time.
Zooba-doo-bop, wow.
Just a few hours to keep families from harm. Help us end home fires, but sound the alarm.
Volunteer for a day to install free smoke alarms in your community.
Alrighty, we're back here for the top of the 7th. Eagan Wildcats going back to the well with the lefty Luke Roiger on the mound. So we'll see. And as Adam and I were talking earlier, we have not seen the Eagan Wildcat outfield defense have to even make a play here today. Even that base hit was up the middle, cut off by Elias.
Yeah, not a fly ball to the outfield for Eagan. And what brought that up was, I don't know if you can always tell on TV or where you're at, but it's kind of that tough sky, right?
Yeah.
Almost like the same color as the ball. It's not that nice blue look, and it's and you can see it could be a challenging day. And even the last out here, the last inning, I'm gonna say he struggled, but it can be a little harder to see. So it looks like it's Luke's game to finish. At this point, there is nobody in the Wildcat bullpen. So I think barring anything really bad, I think it's going to be Luke's game to finish.
It's a lonely day for an outfielder.
Yeah.
Lonely, cold day for an outfielder. I mean, even on the flip side, there's only been one fly ball caught, and that was that nice play in right field by Henke. And other than that, it was the triple to center and then a few base hits. So there hasn't been any action to left field, hit by either team.
Either team.
So.
And they do have, Chris Egelstrom is still in there that could throw. Trevor Langenberg is still in the bullpen just in case they need, they do have to have somebody warming up. And as you mentioned, if, Griffin Finsky could certainly throw today if it got to that.
Yeah.
Or if even Coach Bullard would want to go that route today for a non-conference
maybe,
game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if they score a run and it's, you need an out or two and there's guys on base, maybe you bring him in. But I think you want to just keep riding Luke out because he's doing a nice job. He's commanding the zone. Even when he's missed, it hasn't been by much. He's got a good command on his off speed. So quickly makes it 2-2 to the number 9 hitter, the second baseman, Caleb Gunderson. There's strike three.
Good start by Luke.
So quick job of sending Gunderson back. And I'll bring up the center fielder, Nolan Savatos.
I stand corrected. It looks like Griffin Finsky is in the bullpen warming up. And looks like we have Danny Lockenmeyer that went over to play first base. So Danny has been, probably the ace of the staff, so far this year and probably will be. And he'll throw this week, whether that's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but he'll definitely get one of the starts this week in the conference play. And Danny generally will play first base when he's not pitching. But maybe he just wanted Griffin to get some work in this afternoon, but he is warming up in the bullpen.
A little side pen.
Yeah.
Just as the sun might try to peek out.
Who did it hit?
I don't think that hit him. I think they're checking to see if he swung, and he did actually commit.
Yeah.
That's a tough strike to take, though. It looked like he just dropped the bat. I don't know how you can call.
That was, I don't know if they have a replay of that one, but.
Because, he was thinking it was going to come in on his hand, so he kind of just, let go of the bat, but.
It definitely looked like he dropped it. That was interesting.
And another strikeout, so 2 up and 2 down for Luke Roiger here for the Wildcats. And then now we're going to see the left fielder, Miles Gunderson.
Well, as we've talked, Luke threw on Monday against Burnsville again today, and his first 2 outings this year have been outstanding, as has Ryder Leitenberg. I mean, you can't ask for much more out of the 2 lefties of the pen here so far this year.
Hot shot, 1 scoop by Lockenmeyer, and that's going to clear it out and finish the day for the Wildcats. So an efficient day for the Wildcats. Only as they out-hit them 6-1. Excellent pitching, especially by the freshman Mitchell after he kind of got through that first inning. Wildcats scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks get their 2 runs in the second inning.
And a great job by the Eagan pitchers today. I mean, for a combined 1 hitter, Will Mitchell to come in and throw 4 innings of no hit, Ryder and Luke to come in the last 3 innings, and actually very, very well done on the pitching side today for Eagan.
Absolutely. So quick thank you once again to Eagan TV. Wonderful job of hanging out here with us in the elements. A big thank you to our guy right next to us, Jack Esser, for putting this all together and having it run so smoothly. Thank you as well to Grand Rapids for coming down and getting their first game of the season. And then we'll be back on Monday for some more baseball as Farmington travels to town for a 4:30 start. And we hope it's more than 40 degrees.
Keep it together on Monday, Casey. Won't be here, but I'll be back on Wednesday. And let's keep it rolling here this week with some conference games.
You got it. All righty. Well, for Adam Huseman, I'm Casey Lux. Thank you again for joining us today. Wildcats win 5-2.